Good, YouTube, Quinn Wade coming to y'all with that basketball analysis on analysisplayground.com and on YouTube. We're going to talk about Mikal Bridges getting traded. He's used to it. Obviously got traded on draft night from the Sixers to the Suns, and now the Suns trade him to Brooklyn. You think, oh, you got him and Ben Simmons, an All NBA defender with another All NBA defender at different positions, all under 30 years old, will be a good fit or a good thing to see, especially because he did real good last year. And, this year that just passed, he also played a little decent. Showed that he may not be a superstar or a dominant player offensively. He doesn't have superstar upside, but he does have the ability to be an all-star because he defends well, he shoots the three ball well, he can score a little bit, and he can get a little hot from time to time. But the Brooklyn Nets have agreed to trade Mikal Bridges, which was a lot of rumors behind that, but nobody really thought or linked it to the Knicks, and it's official. The Knicks trade Bojan Bogdanovic for unprotected first round picks, a protected first round pick via what they have from the Bucks, and an unprotected pick swap and a second rounder. And the Knicks are sending unprotected picks in 2025, to be more specific, 2027, 2029, and even 2031, plus a protected 2025 first round pick, to be more specific. That's the Bucks one, and a 2028 unprotected pick swap and a second round pick swap. That will be in 2025, and it goes even in 2026, but that one's going to be a second round pick. Bridges joined several former Villanova teammates, which was Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart and Dante DiVincenzo. They had a great playoff run. They was fun. They can shoot. They can penetrate. They can probe the paint. They like communicating. They like playing hard, stern type of basketball. Bridges has 2 seasons remaining on his current contract. He signed this contract with the Phoenix Suns, and, he still has 2 years on there. He's still going to be under 30. So I think that he'll still have a lot of value in the NBA, especially if he continues to defend at a high level. He's still owed $23 million, which is about what you want to pay a starter that specifically can be a difference maker. And the next season after that, which will be 2 years from now, he'll be getting paid $24 million. So he's not getting paid $30 million, $40 million, $50 million. He's getting paid a decent salary, and I think he's worth it. Bridges can, though, sign a 3-year, $113 million extension. You see a lot of these guys getting $200 million. You just seen Scotty Barnes get $209 million. If they do want to work on that extension, especially for this price range, for this type of player, you definitely want to get that done, especially for his age. But $113 million is really nothing compared to what a lot of these other guys are getting paid with the Knicks. And you do have 6 months to figure out if this is a deal that you want to do if you are the Knicks. It makes a lot of sense, and I do want to see how he feels about this, because you really want to get comfortable with an organization. You want to prove that you're a keeper with an organization, and I feel like a guy that has the respect level like Mikal Bridges has, it makes a lot of sense to why you wouldn't be happy about this trade. But you also would be ecstatic that you do know that it's the Knicks, and they have a competitive roster, unlike a team like Brooklyn that has a couple more pieces they will need to be competitive. And you see the run that the Knicks went on, and you see how good Jalen Brunson is. You see how much improvement and how much work a person like Julius Randle has done to get to be the player that he has become, which is an all-star status, a guy that had made all NBA teams when he's fully healthy. And they still have OG, who they're still trying to figure out what they're going to do with him, just because his contract is something they want to negotiate and something that they want to figure out. And they made a move for him just a couple months ago, just to have that 3-and-D guy at the wing position, just like you. And I would say having a guy like Josh Hart as, defense too, and being able to shoot the three and being able to be ultra confident is something that's special. And I feel like this Knicks team, they grind, they push you, they fight you, they attack you, they come at you. And I feel like this is some type of unique play style that only this team has. And the aggressor mentality is very good. Like this whole team has it. And once they get their center rotation figured out, do they want to bring back Mitchell Robinson? Do they want to trade Mitchell Robinson? They have to figure that out this summer. And do they want to bring back Isaiah Hardenstein, a guy that always seems like he's at the right point of being on the court, getting the rebounds, getting the finishes, not getting in the way, understanding where he needs to be at on the court, and understanding how to set good screens for guys like Brunson to get in their actions. And even though you have guys like Mikal and Hart and OG that don't mind playing with the ball or without the ball, they're not really known as scorers. They're not really known as playmakers. They're really just known as, guys that can make shots if you can create for them. And I think that this team has a lot of them, like because Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson create their own shots anyway, and then you just need them to be able to have guys that can knock down shots around them, and that'll make them very, very dangerous. And I was surprised like that you didn't really give up a significant piece of your team besides a bunch of picks that's really worthless because you're drafting late in the draft basically on all these picks. And even though we done seen superstars become great players out of those type of positions, Mikal Bridges is a guaranteed player that fits the age group of your team, and you can literally bring him in by getting rid of a bunch of picks that you don't really find it, worthwhile, because 6 picks is a high cost until you can give him an extension too, and then you figure, well, I'm happy with the team that we have, and I feel like we can compete with anybody. But I feel like this is a year where we're seeing a lot of these coaches and a lot of these players see how important it is to defend, seeing how we always believed in the NBA, this sport particularly, that defense win championships, and these are the main players getting moved the last 3 years, or players like Aaron Gordon, Mikal, OG, and guys that are what we thought was keepable. Like 5, 6, 7 years ago, everybody wanted the 3-and-D guys, and that trend has continued still to this day. And and I just laugh at how crazy it is that you worked this hard to get a player like that, and now you're going to put yourself in a position to where you have to find another great player through the draft or use these extra picks that you're gonna have and to entice somebody to give you a superstar. And I feel like the Nets kind of went wrong, with that type of movement with the Paul Pierce trade that gave the Celtics Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Then they was able to get their two big free agents where they cleared the cap space for, which was Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. They don't really give you any great seasons or any great playoff runs, as they didn't even make it to a conference finals. And then they leave you with Ben Simmons and Mikal and some decent pieces, but you're far away from being a contender and not even a guaranteed playoff team. Now you get rid of your best player to me on your roster, and now you get a better, brighter future with a lot more control of whatever you want to do with it. But I do say, like, you're going to be stuck in a position where either people want to come or a superstar wants to come, or you're going to have to trade so much to get them there that you still have to find a part two. And if you can't do that, then this is just a waste of 10 years for Brooklyn basketball. And I feel like New York felt the same way. Like, since they had Carmelo and Amari, it was about getting 2 stars and just trying to figure out the rest later. And we have seen a lot of those type of methodologically thinking fail. Like, I'd rather have these guys for sure, and those other guys they just couldn't do it. And I feel like the Nets try to do that. Let's get two guys figured out with Joe Johnson and Derrick Williams. Let's get 2 guys, Kyrie and Kevin Durant, and figure it out. And it never worked out for any team that did that way. It's like, if you're not going to put great defenders around these guys, if you're not going to be patient with the development of these young guys that you picking in the draft or packaging to get rid of, you kind of stub your toe. You kind of get stuck where we're good enough to make the playoffs, but we're not good enough to make a championship run. And I feel like these Eastern teams really are still stuck besides the Celtics. And that has been the last 6 years of the Eastern Conference. The Heat would make a move for Jimmy Butler, a defender, and a guy that's an all-around player now, but they just couldn't figure out the other pieces that's needed to win with him. And after, I would say, Kawhi Leonard won with the Raptors, picking up Pascal, Fred VanVleet, Norman Powell, trading for Marc Gasol, that was the one team that went all in outside of the Celtics trading for Derek White and Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis to show you we have to do whatever it takes to have enough talent to go against any team and still be able to win a championship. Those are the only teams that I really feel like went all in, even if it meant, possibly paying the luxury tax besides the Golden State Warriors, and they was really just able to hold on to who they drafted, which was Steph, Clay, and Draymond, and fill in the blanks successfully with the Wiggins or Harrison Barnes or Andre Iguodala or Kevin Durant. Those are the teams that you want to figure it out that way because you know what you have. And like I said, this is all you're going to learn from the Mikal Bridges trade is we got a guy that has a lot of interest that we really like ourselves. That's why we traded for him. And then we realize he's not that guy that we really need, to get over that hump. And then you trade him to a team that's almost there. And then you realize they got a little bit more work to do and to figure out how this team actually going to play together, how they actually going to play off of each other, and how these contracts going to work out the next 3 to 4 years. And one thing about the Knicks, they don't really lose this trade because Mikal is still going to be tradable the next 5, 6 to 7 years, and so is their whole entire roster. So they can flip and move and maneuver picks how they want to and players because they're going to always be able to trade those players for picks, or they're going to always be able to trade those players for an upgrade because they have other players they can add to those packages to make it be a sweetener. So I like where the Knicks are at. I like what they're doing. I like their youth movement. I like their strategy because you're always going to be in the run-ins for being a great team, and you have a chance to still get that superior player when he comes available. And then I like what the Nets did too, like getting a bunch of picks, really getting a lot and having control over how your roster is going to look. They just need to get out of the let's do the quick way and let's do the fast way of trying to be a championship team instead of just going through the good, the bad, and the ugly and figuring out a way to be in good communication with these guys and building something special instead of rushing to the victory line and coming up short. Even the Celtics, for the last 8 years, we've been slowly not giving up on Tatum and Brown, but still putting the pieces that's needed to win instead of trying to blow it up or try to speed past the game and get a reward that's not guaranteed each and every season, which is a championship. And that would be the only downside of this trade is now you got more assets, now you got more, pieces, but what are these picks going to become, or what are you going to really get out of these picks, even when it comes to a player? And it still may put them in a situation where they're a playoff team and not really a contender or a championship team. And that's the only downside about the trade for the Nets. Other than that, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification bell for more analysis. Check out my older videos because they're classics. And everybody knows that even if you're a new fan, once you watch this, you're going to want to watch more. And check out that, and you can have some more fun with these type of videos that only really been exclusively here, but inspired a whole generation and a lot of people, because of the style. Other than that, see you guys later.